Hello, happy Wellness Wednesday. My name is Robin Lee. I'm a medical intuitive located in Southern California. I have been in practice for over 33 years now, and I'm so grateful for the opportunity to share some wisdom and insight with you all. November is a time where a lot of people focus on family, focus on the word gratitude, being grateful. And I wanted to talk to you about why this is such a critical piece of our own healing puzzle. For us to choose and to be reminded that the things that we choose to focus on are a critical anchor of how we can actually heal. A lot of times I think we have to have these restricted diets, that we have to have these lifestyles that don't match a lot of our friends, that we have to feel this astringent, closed-tided energy. And I personally, in my own path of healing, can tell you from experience that gratitude was an incredible lifesaver that was actively thrown my way. I practiced with and I learned to build a flotation vise with the focus on gratitude for myself. So I wanted to take the time today to share with you how critical it really is to learn to retrain your brain in a place of gratitude. Gratitude allows us to be in the present moment and really be here, looking around and seeing things as they are. And a lot of us just haven't gotten enough information, or we haven't taken it seriously enough to really choose to stay focused and anchored in gratitude. We don't understand the importance of it. We don't understand why it's worth the effort or energy. And that's what I wanted to spend a few minutes just kind of touching the tip of the iceberg of why gratitude is truly so important. Gratitude anchors us into the moment, as I was sharing. What that means is that it allows us to choose to see in this moment what it is that we are grateful, thankful for. When we allow ourselves to start focusing on that, what happens is we start shifting our awareness to things as they are in front of us instead of how we want them to be, how we think they should be. And we're able to just allow things to kind of be in the moment. Of course, there's negative things in the moment. It's life. But what you choose to focus on becomes a completely different area in how we can create a life of mindful living. Mindful living means that we're not on autopilot. Mindful living means that we're constantly aware that we have choices with what we choose to do, who we choose to spend time with, how much we choose to spend time with, and all of these things. I think a lot of times there's not enough conversation around our lifestyle and how it impacts our health and wellness. So much of our lives are focused on chasing these carrots, meaning when I get a degree and when I get married and when I buy a house and when I buy that car and when I do this, then I can have this. And I can tell you from personal experience, it's a backwards way to live life, because it's thinking that when I have this, I'm going to have a different experience that's going to become more. For myself, anytime I have more means that there's also more energy, more focus, more attention, more personal responsibility and accountability that I kind of give to things in my life, if you will, circumstances in my life, whatever it happens to be. So for me, I reached a point in my life where success was where a lot of people would define success. I was able to be a stay-at-home mom. I had a very lucrative business. I felt happy. I was able to prioritize a lot of things in my life that were joyful, but it wasn't always like that. Mindfulness got me to that point, but I still felt inside that there was just something missing. And what I started realizing was I was chasing the carrot. I started realizing, although I was defining my moments more than a lot of people, gratitude wasn't something that I really truly anchored into. So people come to me from all over the world and ask me to support them, whether it's with their health, on their physical level, in relationships, in the way that they're dealing with people in general, with their businesses, all kinds of things. Because when we're rooted in this moment, all kinds of answers are right here that we oftentimes make more complicated and don't see. So for me, how old was I at that point? I learned about gratitude in my early 20s, but I think I really started activating it in my late 20s where I started noticing I felt this emptiness inside. And I would meditate, I would do things that were supposed to give me this feeling of fulfillment, and I wasn't quite grasping it. I started noticing that I was thinking, well, if I do this, then I'll have that experience. And I would reach that experience. It would give me that experience. But then all of a sudden, I was kind of back to square one with what my personal experience was like. So I remember talking to someone, and I was working with him in a session, and he shared with me that gratitude was our most powerful healer. And I thought, that's strange. At that point, my diet was very restricted. I was very rigid in certain elements of my self-care. And I was convincing myself that that's how I needed it to be to reach a certain level of happiness, joy, health, and overall just success. And it quickly shifted gears when he said to me, every single moment in life that you live, you can choose to focus on something to be grateful. I thought, how odd is that? If I'm irritated, if I'm in traffic, if I'm stressed about something, why would this person tell me that I could be grateful? Well, the funny thing is I could. I could choose to be grateful, or I could choose to focus on the problem. So why does gratitude help heal? It's because it anchors us into the moment. We cannot heal unless we're present in this moment. So a lot of people work on their diet, and that's a mindfulness about this moment. As long as we remember that our bodies are always changing, that can be a beautiful path toward physical healing and an anchor and a foundation for that. However, if our minds are not healthy, it makes it much more difficult to be able to actually experience integrated healing. And gratitude and being present is a powerful piece of how our mental health works. Because of trauma, because of patterns and habits we've lived growing up, a lot of us never learned the critical essence and importance of focusing on gratitude. Gratitude is food for our heart. For those of you that are and have been in personal relationships, which are all of us, we've all had relationships with siblings, parents, teachers, significant others. How good does it feel when someone tells you, thank you? When someone acknowledges the effort that you've put in, how amazing does that feel? It feels so rewarding. So when we choose to focus on life and say, thank you for this experience. Thank you for this moment that I've woken up and I get to be here in the morning. And you start your day with gratitude, there's just a pep in the step over time that begins to happen. Over time, as you practice a habit of gratitude, I was taught to start with 3 things at the end of the day, actually, that I was grateful for in a moment. So I would start with, I was grateful for toothpaste. I was grateful for the fact that I had teeth to brush. I was grateful for my toothbrush. I got very basic because you know what? At first, I couldn't find anything to be grateful for. I'm not kidding. I didn't know how to do that. It was such a glitch in my own healing journey. I didn't know how to do that. I knew how to look for what wasn't there in myself and others. And honestly, it's a huge skill set to have when I'm working and supporting people by seeing what may be missing, right? What may be wanting to be added in. It's a really beautiful blessing in the kind of work I do as a medical intuitive. But in my own personal day-to-day life, it was almost an element of self-hatred. So gratitude, if you're working on the idea of self-love and self-connection, gratitude fuses you to a higher level of love and true feeling of connection to this moment with yourself. When you're present, you get to feel the magic of the moment. When you're present, you get to feel the miracle of the moment. So it's really easy to be grateful when you choose to be grateful and things are amazing. It's another thing when you're wanting to be grateful when things aren't so great. How can you be grateful? Number 1, always honor how you're actually feeling in a given moment. Always allow yourself permission to be honest with yourself when you're frustrated, when you're angry, when you're feeling depressed, when you're feeling overwhelmed, when you're feeling sad, when you're feeling disgusted. Feel those feelings, like really give yourself permission to feel them. Don't use gratitude as a way of bypassing your organic emotions. Use your organic emotions as an indicator of when it'd be great to honor how you actually feel and then support yourself with gratitude. Think of gratitude as heart balm, as of a warm, loving energy that just gets to soothe your heart. So when you're choosing to focus on gratitude, whether it's 3 things at the end of the day, whether it's 1 thing in the morning, it doesn't matter. Do it whenever you want. I was taught consistent, same time, focus on being grateful. When you allow yourself to be able to do that, it truly is magic that's created in the moment. You start to see more over time what's there. You start to see more with your friends, with yourself, where you're showing up, where you're doing things right. So if you're focusing on self-criticism and you've been working on that in therapy and healing, make sure that gratitude is an anchored piece of this particular puzzle. Because when you have those negative thought processes and you're aware of them, you know right there, honor how I feel. We don't push away our organic feelings. We embrace them. We breathe them into our natural process. That's called honoring them. And when we honor our natural feelings and we identify them and we really let ourselves feel them, it's such an amazing reward to then focus also on gratitude for the moment. Because then we teach ourselves that it's not all or nothing. We don't have to be happy to receive anything. We can just live our life and still be happy and grateful and still go through trials and tribulations. So on those hard days, those are probably the hardest days to stay committed to being grateful. Challenge yourself and ask yourself, but what is it? Yes, these things I'm angry about, absolutely, but I'm still going to choose to honor how I feel, but yet hold hands with gratitude. I can do both at the same time. It has been so rewarding for me over the years as a medical intuitive to watch people go through physical health challenges, major accidents, very unfortunate situations, and to be able to feel the depths of those personal experiences and at the same time be able to attune themselves to the vibration of gratitude, because it's not one or the other. It's choosing in our moments to feel everything that we possibly can. And I think a lot of us over time have learned we have to get rid of the negative to feel the positive, and that's far from true. So for those of you focusing on self-criticism, for those of you that are focusing on wanting to better yourselves, which is a lot of the healing journey, make sure that you're not stuck in that paradigm of thinking that you've got to get rid of the negative to allow yourself to vibrate also with the positive. It's that we've gotten used to the negative and focusing on the negative. Most of us weren't raised with people that were rewarding ourselves and focusing on the positive. So to allow yourselves to be reminded to be grateful, to choose to focus on the gratitude, is one of the most powerful healing cards you will ever hold. My personal practice, I wake up and I focus on one thing to be grateful for in the moment. And the first thing I focus on before that is telling the universe, telling God, telling Spirit, thank you for giving me another opportunity today to be able to be awake, to be able to be alive, and to be able to serve in this beautiful world. Thank you for allowing me another opportunity to be able to heal and to be mindful in my life. And then I allow myself to be focused on something to be grateful for. Today I was grateful that I had an opportunity to sit and to be able to make these videos, and that my work schedule was very busy. That's what I chose to focus on my gratitude for. At the end of the night before bed, I say 3 things that I'm personally grateful for. These things don't have to be mind-blowing and mind-shattering. Yesterday, my gratitudes were my hair brushed, my gratitudes were being able to spend time with my mom, and my gratitudes were also being able to pay my bills. Those are my 3 gratitudes. For years, I kept a gratitude journal. I would write them out at the end of the day on a piece of paper that was in my journal. And I would see my journal at the next day, and it would remind me to consistently do that. I would make my bed and I would put my journal on my pillow as a reminder to choose to be grateful. Choosing to be grateful does not mean that we're going to dishonor our other emotions. But the reason gratitude heals is because it allows us to align to the truth in the moment that we will make a difference and that we are making a difference by the things that we choose to focus on. We can choose to be focusing on the negative, and we can choose to be focusing on the positive. When we choose to focus on the positive consciously, we still feel the negative, but we don't harbor our focus, our conversation, our thoughts on the negative. So if you notice with your friends that you're focusing a lot on the negative, choose to stop and change that pattern. It's a very common way that we've learned to associate with each other is by focusing on the negative. Focus by the end of the time. Create habits. At the end of dinner, what 3 things are you all grateful for? At the end of time with your friends, before we leave and walk away, can we focus on 3 things that we're really grateful for with each other? Look in the mirror. What 3 things are you grateful for your body? What 3 things are you grateful for that you can do? What 3 things are you grateful for your husband? Now, how does this work and why does it work? I'm going to tell you again from your own personal experience. How does it feel when someone verbalizes to you that they are grateful for the things that you are doing or you have done, compared to telling you the things that you need to do better or be different? When you have gratitude, you relax. When you relax, your nerves calm down. When your nerves calm down, your heart heals, your brain can relax, your brain can heal, and the whole body gets to have a beautiful reduction of inflammatory response. Inflammation is the #1 health condition that we have. It masks itself in all other kinds of conditions, but when it comes down to it, reducing inflammation is one of the most important things you can do for your overall health and wellness. So I urge you to choose to focus on gratitude, because when you choose to be in the present moment, focusing on the positive, feeling whatever negative is going on and focusing on the positive, what starts happening is this alignment that you can trust the moment in front of you. If you're focusing on the negative, it's very hard to trust that positive, good things are going to come your way and that are in here in this moment. We're waiting and waiting and waiting. So we stop waiting. And when we stop waiting, we're able to put presence in this moment. The energy align that we're thinking from the past or the future, or that stress or tension of how things can be better all the time, it just starts to relax. And when it starts to relax, that means we start to relax. And when we start to relax and our bodies relax, we get less inflammation, which means we have less stress, which means we have less anxiety, which means we have less gut issues, which means we can start having more confidence and joy in the given moment. Gratitude, in my opinion, is the most powerful healing card we can work with to heal issues of the mind, heal issues of depression, heal issues of anxiety and overwhelm. It is an amazing balm that we can work with. Again, imagine if you're having an issue with someone, or you're having an issue with yourself, and it's focusing on never being good enough and feeling like you're never good enough. Do you wake up? Are you a perfectionist? That comes from feeling like you're not good enough, just being who you are a lot of the time. Take big, deep breaths and take this message to heart. Gratitude is going to be your #1 healing factor, because it's a choice that you make in the moment to heal your body, your mind, and your spirit. When your body relaxes, you can be more present, you can be less inflamed, and you will have less conditions across the board, because you're going to feel more connected. And when you're feeling more connected, you do less emotional eating, you're happier, you're able to have a healthier level of relationship and connections. And then you start requiring a healthy level of connections by how you show up in relationships. So if you're used to being and hanging around with people that are negatively focused and they're feeding that part of yourself, the question becomes, what can we do that we can create more joy? We can create more gratitude. We can create more health and harmony in the moment. You are worth feeling more supported in this moment. And when you realize the blessings that you have around you in all these moments, you will feel worthy. You will feel connected. So if you have self-worth issues, gratitude is non-optional. In my entire healing practice, gratitude is non-optional. So I trust you're enjoying this. Subscribe below if you've not to my channel. Just like it under here and there's a subscribe button. Subscribe so you can get my monthly notifications for my Wellness Wednesdays, where I like giving you little bits of food, profound insight, broken down into ways that are normally pretty easy to understand. Gratitude creates us to be present in this moment, which allows us to heal, reduce inflammation, and allows our heart to feel connected and heard. Gratitude is a way of acknowledging ourselves and our healing process and the fact that we are alive on this beautiful planet and there's so much in our world to be grateful for. And so many people will say, yes, but look at this and look at that and all these things that have happened in our lives. Yes, those things are there. We validate them. We feel them. Absolutely. We don't put them underneath, but we still choose to focus on the things we're grateful for. And that's what we fuel our energy to, because it then gives back to us. It's fuel and food for the heart. When you focus on fear, when you focus on what's not there, it just dissipates and goes out, and the healing battery drops very quickly. When that healing battery drops very quickly, that's where you got health conditions that happen. Headaches, overwhelm, gut, sleeplessness. Gratitude truly does heal. All my love.